No, that's solid. That's solid.
So for you, soccer, I mean, obviously you played it your whole life for the most part. Kid from, was it El Paso?
In Paso, Texas, yes sir.
Legend.
Yeah.
So how'd you get into it? Like, what was the
So,
deciding factor?
My dad is the one that like pushed me into it. At the time, 5 years old, and they just wanted me to do something.
Sure.
And then my dad just pushed me into soccer. I was very much apparently I was a mama's boy. I don't remember, but apparently I was a mama's boy.
I always think it happens.
But I mean, the story that they claim is that like I was holding on to like my mom's leg. I didn't want to go like join the kids and stuff, like to go play, and they're just like, "Come on!" And the coach finally got me going. I kicked the ball like a couple times, and then like I don't know where the ball just hits me straight in the face, and I just run to my mom like I don't want to come back and all that. And my dad just like kept pushing, like he's gonna play. And then yeah, that turned into like I dare to say like all of us as soccer players, like it turned into my first love, who then turned into my forever love. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And the journey began then.
Was there one moment that kind of you knew, like you finally decided to like kind of jump, basically? Like your dad's pushing you a little bit, knows that you're gonna love it, but you have to make that decision at the end of the day. Was there one moment where you knew?
I don't remember a specific like moment that I was like, here it is, but there was just a time frame between probably like I want to say when I was probably like 8 years old or something where I was like, this is what I want to do the rest of my life. You know what I mean? And it just, it's funny because at the time, when you're a kid, everybody's like, oh, that's great. But then once you're like in middle school, at least in my like life, I would tell teachers that and they'd be like, pick something that's realistic. You know what I mean? They would kill the dream immediately.
110%. So it was my own grandparents half the time,
really?
Because they, to their credit, they loved me and supported me all the way, but they looked at it as a very low percentage career. Whereas my mom was more the dreamer, and I, similar to you, was a mama's boy as well. And at some point, I do remember it vividly. 4 years old, I was at my aunt and uncle's house watching the 1998 World Cup and just watching everybody walk off the field as heroes. I'm like, I want to be just like that. And then as things kind of progressed, and I went from being a field player into a goalkeeper later on, I saw Tim Howard kind of making big time saves, and I'm just like, I have to be like that. How do I do that? So for me, it was more my grandparents that were kind of putting a ceiling on that dream. But at the same time, I almost liked it because I had to push past that ceiling a little bit. And those restraints make you go harder, and that makes you learn a little bit quicker, right?
I completely agree. Yeah, because every time I would hear that no, it's like I don't even have to respond to you. Like I'm gonna make it at some point, and then you're. I'm not saying that person like paid attention to me, those teachers, whatever, whoever said I wasn't gonna make it.
No.
But like, I'm just gonna push as far as I can go.
Absolutely.
And I think we're sitting here in the same very similar boat because of soccer, we were able to travel so much. We were able to get our education, and we are where we are right now because of it. Like I will always say like extremely grateful and thankful of my parents of how they raised me and my Mexican background, my culture, everything.
Sure.
But what really molded me to be the person I am now is soccer. The values I have, the discipline I have with whatever, it doesn't have to be just athletics.
No.
Just in life in general. The way I attack situations is because of what I learned on the field at training and that commitment that I had because I mean, I'm 29 now. And yeah, I've been away. I will say I've been away from the game now for a little bit. Like I play here and there.
Sure.
But at least 20 years of my life fully dedicated to like I'm gonna make this happen.
100%. Well, it's one of those things like riding a bike, right? You touch a football, you know exactly how to play.
Yep.
And it's one of those things as well. As you've mastered that to the furthest that you can, you have to have some variety, right? You've got to find other avenues and other ways to be successful and find that feeling. So for you, obviously, college was a career there, and then you kind of. I want to get into Australia at some point. Let me tell me about your college career first and how you kind of got there.
Yeah.
And what it was like for you, because I know, especially at least from my experience, going from high school to college, I was a late commit to Wake Forest.
Okay.
Didn't have a big name, nothing kind of going for me in that way, but I still put my head down and went to work. And it's intimidating when you're kind of trying to find a Division I school and everyone's putting a attachment to the name of the school that you go to instead of, hey, congratulations, you went to a Division I program or a Division II program and you're playing. People put so much emphasis on who they're playing for instead of the fact that they actually made it to that level.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, that's a whole other thing I want to definitely talk about. But for me, coming from El Paso, we're not. I think it's changed now. Obviously, it's evolved now. But at the time, I graduated back in 2014 from high school. and I did not know the process of how anything was.
Yep.
If you ask me, let me see film from your high school, I have zero film. I did not know you were supposed to be film. I didn't know you were supposed to be reaching out to colleges by freaking freshman year.
Right.
No, I was sending messages to coaches 4 months before I graduated from high school. And it was weird because I would message them, but it's like, hey, this is me. I play here. They're like, oh, great. Well, let me see some film. And I'm like, oh, I don't have any film.
Right.
Like, I had nothing. But I still had the idea, like, at the time, of like, all right, well, I want to keep playing.
Right.
And same thing. I didn't know the difference between, like, Division I, Division II, all that. But all you knew was Division I was the top level. It's like, okay, well, I want to play there.
Naturally.
Yeah. And it was a wild moment because I'm like, all right, well, what do I do? And I just had my last tournament, which was San Diego Surf Cup.
I know Surf Cup.
Yeah, Surf Cup, which is a great tournament, right?
For sure.
And there's plenty of scouts out there, plenty of college coaches. And I was like, you know what, just finish this off. And this was, Surf Cup is usually, like in July or June or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, preseason
end of the season. End of the club season, start of the college season.
Exactly.
Right there.
Preseason starts a month later.
Yeah.
And at the time, I had no teams, like, at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, let's see this. Hopefully we have a good tournament, and we'll go from there. I had already applied to Grand Canyon University, which at the time had just transferred over to Division I. It was a growing school, and I'm like, okay, well, I have that option, right?
Yeah.
And it just happened to be that the coach for Grand Canyon was out there. And finished the game. Dare to say I had a solid game. And I'm just walking away with my dad, and the college GCU's coach, Draxon, he's running behind me. Hi, Horacio, what else? And I just walk over and I'm like, oh, Horacio, good to, like, so just because I didn't know how anything flew, he's like, oh yeah, I saw you. And he was just like, yeah, you're welcome on board. I will dare to say, I kind of want to say I'm like a walk-on story because,
Same.
Yeah, like, obviously once he knew who I was and stuff, you know how college works. It's like, if you play the way you played here this year, you'll have money left over, but not for this year, for the next 3 years.
Yeah, you gotta prove yourself.
I'm like, okay. And still at the time, I didn't know anything about much.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew I was going to school. I was going to continue, and I was going to move over to Phoenix.
But that's all you needed at that time. So we've talked about, like, you kind of dove into learning about everything with the ball at your feet. Learning about everything about life with the ball at your feet.
Exactly.
And one of these things right here is basically trusting the process and, hey, I know I love this. I don't know how it's going to show up. I have absolutely no idea, but I know it's going to. And then it does in the last second. It was similar to me as well. My mom, again, helped me out a little bit more because she took film.
Yeah.
Didn't take film. She paid for someone to take film and sent it out and then did all of the emails before I knew what I was doing. So, like, that is one of those things where it's like, hey, I took accountability for it later on in that process. But as a freshman, sophomore, I can definitely understand, like, hey, you don't know what you don't know. And my mom was able to kind of help me with that to send those emails out and get my name out there a little bit more, which allowed me to go to academy showcases and be noticed a little bit more. But I was also the kid that's more of a walk-on story as well because I'm begging, hey, take a look at this video. Yeah, I will go to your camp. I don't care. Where is it? When is it? How much is it? I will figure it out. Did we come from money? No. But we're going to find a way to make this happen, whether that's me driving for Uber or going to work at the golf course as a caddy to get money to go and make this thing happen because it's coming from my dream. Like, I have to accomplish this. And same as you, I was a very late commit, so I'm begging Wake Forest. Hey, I've been to your camp 3 times. I know you've got an All-American goalkeeper named Andrew Harris. He's my year. I get it. Let me be a backup. Let me be on your team type thing. And the rest is kind of history. Obviously, like, as soon as you prove yourself the first year, it's like, oh, like, maybe I can play here.
Exactly.
Maybe I can, like, actually become a pro. And then as soon as that confidence begins to spark, the momentum kind of hits. So I'm assuming that kind of found you as well in Grand Canyon?
Yeah. Yes and no. Yes and no, yeah.
Well, setbacks, of course, but...
Yeah, no, I think, like, once I went out there, I still, once again, the learning process, completely. I didn't know what a redshirt was. I didn't know anything.
Yes.
And there was a solid, I want to say, like, it was a solid, like, freshman class, probably, like, 12 of us. And I think everyone but 3 of us redshirted.
Yep.
And I was one of the ones that didn't redshirt.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, well, but there were just so many things, like NCAA clearance, all these things that, at one point I went over to talk to the coach, and I'm like, how come I'm not trying? He's like, you haven't been cleared yet. And I'm like, huh? Like, yeah, they haven't even sent your transcript in. So, like, those things that I'm like,
you didn't know that.
I was already at the college. I had already started preseason, and I was still lacking all these other things, and I'm like, okay. So, yeah, you had to learn the hard way, which, you know, I'm glad that I did.
You learn quicker because you have to.
Yeah, you have to. You have to just go. And the season started. I will say, it wasn't the story that I would have liked. There was a lot of hiccups, a lot of things.
Sure.
And what ended up happening is they fired that coach.
Wow.
So the second year, I was kind of already looking like I might have to transfer just because of how the things are going. And then when they bring in that second coach, I'm like, all right, this is a new start for all of us, right? But the same thing. I'm not going to get any athletic money because this is a new coach. Yeah, you have to prove yourself. He's going to bring his own players. And so, all right, cool. I saw it as an opportunity again. I'm like, all right, this is kind of like another freshman year. Let's go.
Yeah.
Started off well. Was starting. I was playing a different role. I'm more of I consider myself a box-to-box, right? But with more of an attacking mindset.
Yeah.
And he was playing me as a strict
holding the 6.
Yeah, 6. And I don't mind it, but I think my abilities are more on the attack. I think I'm more creative on that.
Sure. And
it was a hard role to play, and it got to the point where finally, he just sat me down, and then he benched me for a couple games, and it kind of sucked because he benched me exactly when my family went out to Phoenix to watch me. So he benched me those 2 games. I had been starting and playing the games prior.
Yeah.
And my family was like, all right, we're going to go out to see you. And I'm like, yeah, please. And he benched me both games. Friday.
Did you know your parents were there? Your family was coming?
I don't know if I'm sure he did.
He had to.
Yeah, he had to have known, but it was like, oh, dang, okay. And I'm a person that even though things are going to go rough, if I've already committed, I'm going to see it through, know? And I remember I spoke to the assistant coach, and they're like, he's just testing you. And I'm like, well, how long is this test going to go? I am pushing my, every single day, every single training session. Dude, and it went out the entire season. I never got that opportunity again. And that's when I was like, all right, I'm going to have to leave. I'm going to have to leave. I think it's the best decision for me. And I went out to ask for my release, and same. I don't know why coaches love to do that. They're like, no, we want you here. And I'm like, don't say that. You're not even. Yeah. But finally, I still wanted to stay Division I because same thing. I still didn't know the difference between Division I, Division II, just I guess bigger schools and stuff.
Sure.
I dropped out of GCU, and I went back to El Paso, and I was out of school for 8 months. I was back in El Paso doing community college, and I'm like, all right, I got to figure something out. My high school coach came in, and he's like, look, there's a Division II school out in Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
I understand you want to stay Division I, but I think you could do good in this program, and I think he was a guy that always told me the difference between Division I, Division II is money.
For sure.
Honestly,
that's exactly what it is.
And he's like, there's players that are in freaking Division III or junior college that make it to the pros.
For sure.
And
that's what I'm saying. Exactly.
Yeah.
Hold on real quick. There's so much to unpack in what you're saying. So I want to ask a couple questions. We'll get to the Mississippi colleges at this point. But we're talking about learning so much of the college career, and I want this to get out to aspiring young players who are trying to get into college and play at this level. You're talking about the complete change of pace and expectations from a high school club program to a college program, and how you adapt to that, which takes time.
It does, yeah.
And then on top of that, a lot of people won't realize this, but their positions will change immediately as soon as they get to college. If you're a goalkeeper, it's probably a little different. You're probably not playing forward, unless you're me. But at the same time, most people get moved to an outside back, or most people get moved to a 6 because they don't have wingers or outside backs that can play, and they're like, well, I see the attributes, I'm going to try and coach you into that.
Exactly.
As a player, when you're coming in, I guarantee you have this thing in your head, I'm scoring every single goal, game winners, celebrate with my boys, everything, right? Everything. And you feel like that dream's getting ripped away from you.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about that realization of I'll do whatever it takes to get on the field, because I think that's very important for a number of players before we get onto the transfer part, because sometimes it's right to stay, and sometimes it's right to leave. Yeah. Because I had the same kind of thing happen to me in my career, where I earned the position finally, and then a new coach came in and it felt like, hey, I've got to go earn this again. I just did the work, which is great for me, because then I didn't get complacent. I had to continue to grow. Exactly. But I want to talk about the coaching changes, the position changes, and then what led to that transfer.
Yeah, well, I think like you said, you come from. It's funny because I think once you hit the college level, and I can't say in every single school or every single program, but let's say you are going to a Division I or Division II school. Most of the time, these players that you are now playing with, they're the best of the best from where they're coming from.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So now you go from I don't want to say dominating, but yeah, possibly, you know, back home, wherever you were playing, city league, high school, you come to another spot where every single guy around you was the man for their team back home.
Correct.
And it's like, I don't want to say it's an ego thing, but okay, so now it's like, who's going to step up?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who's going to have that, like, that extra little push of like, okay, you are the guy here now.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
And so everybody's trying to prove themselves.
Real quick, on that point though, on leadership, do you think the real leader that does step up allows for everyone to have their piece? In the sense of, yes, I'm the man, I'm the 10, but I know you're a great winger, I'm going to play with you. I know 100%. Like that leadership is, because you talk about ego, there are some players that are phenomenally gifted and they just can't fit into a system. Because they can't remove the ego. And I want to get into that.
Too many of them, because for me personally, like, I've always been a player who's, I dare to say quiet in terms of like outside. In the field, I think I do like change, and I'm vocal and I try to
introvert a little bit.
I play that role. But there's so many players that are so gifted, and yet those are the same players that are out there partying, that are out there showing up late to practice, and you're just like, dude, if you put in the work, like, you know what I mean?
You just want to shake them.
Yeah.
You're just like, if I had that just God-given talent, you know what we could do with it. It's insane.
But I do think at the end of the day, and I'm pretty sure you would agree, hard work will always beat talent. I do think that. And there's a few exceptions, right? Let's talk about, like, if we're going to put the prime example, Messi, right? Messi's a guy, I'm not saying he doesn't work hard, but you don't see him posting the pictures that Cristiano Ronaldo's posting at the gym. You know what I mean? And I think that's the perfect example. Cristiano Ronaldo, yes, he's talented, but I think his hard work, his ethic, is what has made him the person that he is.
Correct.
Whereas Messi, you know, it's his natural talent. That's God given.
And this is why it's you're playing. Everyone that answers that question plays favorites. If they know soccer, if they know football, they're equal. I promise you, they are the same player. They're different heights, they're different people, but they're the same level of player. To your point, Messi, yes, he works hard. Yes, he carries himself at a very high level. It is not easy, I'm sure, to be someone like that. And to do it with that grace, phenomenal. But I prefer Ronaldo based off of the fact I know it's worked for it.
Exactly.
And from my upbringing, and I'm just assuming, but I would love to hear more about yours, like it's one of those, you and I came from very difficult places, and now you see somebody like that that's worked their way up to that place. It's like, one, that's possible, and two, I love that you're celebrating it, so I want to celebrate it too. I think they're both worth, you know, their weight in gold.
Of course. I remember this. There's this phrase that somebody had seen once. Man, hopefully it comes back to me. But yeah, I mean, going back to your point, like, I'm also absolutely love Messi. Obviously, I absolutely love him, and I do think that, because of the World Cup, you know, it kind of like, does it push it up beyond him? But it's funny because I am a Ronaldo fan. Like, Cristiano is my guy.
Sure.
First off, because of the same thing.
Sure.
Because of of what he's done, of how he's proven the hard work pays off, maintaining that high level for years. I mean, let's be honest, to maintain, like, a lot of people, it's funny, I think also, especially in the U.S., people don't know how hard soccer is. They have no idea. They kind of just hear, like, dude, you just kick a ball. It's like, dude, I'm sure if I tell you to kick it through there, you will not have the accuracy, you will not have the technique, nothing.
There's an interview with Thierry Henry, he says it perfectly. He's like, it is, with the skill of a footballer is underrated.
Yeah.
To play a 60-yard diagonal ball that drops dead on the winger's foot, but over the defender and before the line, is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Tom Brady does it, it's highly real. But
yes.
You know, it's that interview. It's exactly what he says. But it's one of those, like, you just don't appreciate the skill of a footballer. It's absolutely insane. And part of it is because they can't do it. You realize, like, soccer players usually can go play other sports. Usually.
Yes.
Other athletes struggle to play soccer. It's just I think they get discouraged at a young age, and then it's one of those, I don't want to, like, force myself to learn this. I'm naturally gifted at football, basketball, whatever else. I'm going to go chase that. And that's fun.
That's fine, yeah.
I love that, because American sports are fantastic too. I love watching it. At the same time, though, don't take away how difficult it is to do what we do.
100%. No, 100%. And you call us biased or whatever, but yeah, if you put anybody on the field that has not played soccer on a soccer field, they're going to struggle. And I do think if you throw us into any other sport, I'm not saying we're going to be absolutely amazing, but I do think we will excel.
For sure.
I mean, I think we're just very well rounded. I would dare to say, and whatever people think, that's fine. But I just feel like even in my experiences with other stuff, like
sure.
Soccer has came in and helped me with so many things.
Absolutely.
And so, yeah, it's not as easy as it looks on TV. I mean, these people make it look like nothing. Like you said, a freaking 60-yard pass and make it fall perfectly in your teammates' feet.
Yeah.
Perfectly weighted, not over him, nothing like. It's not easy.
And then to talk about the guys sprinting full speed to basically catch that on his foot,
yeah.
and then serve a ball in that's perfectly weighted to be finished.
A lot of fatigue comes into play. Like,
yes.
You have to do it when you're tired. I think that's one of the most important things in soccer. Like
100%. But that's life too. We talked about learning about life with the ball at your feet. So back to your journey, going and transferring. What was that kind of decision like, and how did you, I guess, make it become final?
Yeah, it wasn't easy, like I
Sure.
said, because my ego was still like, I can play Division 1, you know what I mean? And but it was just to the point where also I had to think about not just myself but my family, because when I went to Grand Canyon, yes, I had like financial aid because of my family's like lower income. I had a scholarship because of my grades and all that, but that was still not enough to cover everything, you know? And to me, it was hard to see my parents have to like scrape for like, all right, well, here's, $500 a month or something. And it's like, even though it's not a lot, to be honest, it's still like, I don't want that, And so, like I had to take out a couple student loans that I'm sure they're not aware of. But even with those student loans, they still had to pay a little bit out of pocket. And to me, it was just like, okay, I can't do that. So I did that for a year and a half.
For sure.
And then once this whole Mississippi thing came across, I was like, okay, spoke to the coach. He said, look, I get it. We're coming from the last 2 seasons were their first like negative seasons. They had always been like on a winning record.
Sure.
And they had been coming from negatives. And then he's like, but we're doing a great job recruiting this year, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, let's go. And then I was going to have money left over. That's how much money they were going to give me,
right.
Which is something that you have to also take in consideration whenever you are making those decisions.
100%.
Like, what is not just best for me in my future, but for my family? Because if they're the ones that are willing to help me out, I don't want that weight on their shoulders. They've already helped me, supported me for 17 years of my life. I don't need that extra push from them. Like, I know they'll support me with everything, but I don't want that economic support.
I want to do it on my own, 100%.
Yeah.
But because they've supported me.
Because they've supported
It's not ego, it's more...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I ran with it. I'm like, all right, let's head out to freaking Mississippi. All I knew about Mississippi, I had drove past it once. That's all I knew about Mississippi, man. I will say that.
Fair.
Culture shock, right?
Lay down what we got.
Coming from El Paso, that's a border town, all Mexicans.
Yeah.
Even Phoenix, mostly it's all Hispanics, Mexicans. I knew the entire West Coast very well. But yeah, going into the South, I was like, all right, let's do it. And at the end of the day, it wasn't too hard, but, there was not too many Hispanics,
Yeah.
besides the guys that were on the team.
For sure.
But, people treated me amazing, and it was, I dare to say, one of the best decisions I made, because it made me grow as a person, first off, because of the culture difference and having to, like, step out of my shell and be more outgoing in terms of, even in the English language, you know what I mean? Because
sure, yeah.
I was so used to everything is Spanish. And then I had to go out there where it's like, people didn't even call me Horacio, they would call me H. Why? Because they couldn't say Horacio. And it's fine. I took it and I ran with it, right? But
you're not used to that though.
Yeah, it was different. Like, I would be on the field and be like, H, and then they'd be like, dude, I'm yelling at you. I'm like, no, you didn't. Like, I said H. I'm like, oh, that's me. Okay.
Right.
But we did great. I think that first year, immediately we turned the program around and we won our conference.
Huge.
Within that first year. And our coach was named Coach of the Year. We all, a couple of us got several accolades, all South and all these other stuff.
Sure.
All conference. And so we walked into my senior year for the first time ever, I think in school history, being ranked. I think the highest we ever ranked was 17th in the nation, which to me, I also did not know about all that stuff. But it's like, okay. And then we got to play against those Division I schools. And that's when you realize,
everyone was right.
Yeah.
the proof is in the progress, right? The proof is in the progress. And when you humble yourself, put all that to the side, which is not easy. It sucks. No. We're skipping over how difficult that actually is.
Yeah.
But when you do it, and then put the correct attitude into the next program, the success comes. And then you get to enjoy it and see what happens next. And you realize two things. One, that's awesome. And then two, it's repeatable.
Exactly.
In every other factor of your life, whether it's endurance racing or whatever it is, whatever it happens to be, it is repeatable. And you have that cookie in the cookie jar, kind of like David Goggins. You know what I'm talking about, where it's just like, I've done this, and it's difficult, and I know it, and that makes me stronger.
Makes me stronger, 100%. Yeah, because it's all ego, if we think about it. It really is. So many players that are just like, I have to stay Division I, and they will, I don't want to say most all of them, but maybe they just ride the bench for the 4 years.
For sure.
And it's like, or maybe play here and there, and it's like, but I played at UCLA. It's like, I mean, cool, we were part of the program, right? Did you really impact?
Did you play, or did
you leave something there that people know, like, oh, you know what, this guy went through this program.
Correct.
And I think that's one thing that also helped me make that decision. It's like,
you get to the legacy.
Yeah, as soon as he said, we're coming from a losing couple seasons, in my head I saw it as a challenge. Like, okay, well, I'm coming in. I know there was other recruits, obviously, that came in. He did an incredible job, I will say, recruiting that helped all of us, right? We helped each other. And we left that, I don't want to say legacy, but we at least left our name and marked there. Like,
you left it better than you found it.
Exactly.
And it gets to grow moving forward. And 100%. That is what creates a great program. So I'm blessed to have gone to Wake Forest, which is a historic program, obviously.
Yeah.
Very walk-on type situation. Obviously, given a spot on the team, not necessarily, hey, any money, because of the way that there's no transfer portal at that time. There's nothing going on at the moment. I think it was 10 scholarships for 30 guys. And that's a Division I program. That's a relatively high level. So money is there, but it is still very different. I can only imagine what Division II and Division III can get. And now we're looking at the way that college football's changed, college basketball's changed, and you're getting paid, tennis players are getting paid, $30,000 to go to UNC or whatever it is. And it's like, okay, well then that needs to adapt, and we need to give everyone full scholarship or some way, because it's one of those things that players like me or you, there are plenty of us that get overlooked or because they don't have the finances to get into the school. They don't have the finances to make it happen, and they're not willing to put that burden on their parents or their family because they physically can't. But if you're allowing for those opportunities, do you know how much quicker we can grow the game in this country?
That's it. That's it right there. Because I think about, I will always say the best team I ever played with was my City League team back in El Paso. I had some of the best players I've ever played with in my life. And I'm talking about, this is back when I was, from like 13 to like 16, 17.
Yeah.
I was pretty much with the same team those entire years. And we played, like, I think, I don't know if it's still a thing, but Got Soccer, the rankings on Got Soccer, I think that's what they were called.
Okay.
But that's how you would know, like, what team was ranked where or whatever.
Gotcha.
Nationally or in their state. And, like, at one point, I think nationally, we were ranked number 1 in Texas. And at one point in the whole entire nation, I think we got up to, like, 11th or something. Like, we got up there, and it was just a bunch of kids that I dare to say I was possibly one of the only ones that got out of El Paso to play college.
Sure.
Why? Because of the same thing. We didn't know how everything worked.
Yep. They
were all coming from, I don't like to use the word poor because we were not poor.
I understand
but
what you're saying.
We were all very, like, low class. A lot of them were from Juarez, which is across the border in Mexico.
Yeah.
And so none of it, all we knew was, like, to play ball.
But that's what makes you great. That's the
what
whole
makes
point.
You great.
It's not about the Vapors or the Total 90s or the Nike that you wear. It is that you love playing.
You love playing.
And you will find a way to play, whether it's on a sandy concrete pitch in the middle of El Paso or in Juarez. And one of the, like, through travel, and I'm sure you've traveled a number of times, you see it everywhere. Whether it's on a field in the middle of nowhere, Morocco, and these kids are playing barefoot, or in Brazil they're playing barefoot too, because it's a love. It's a passion that you can't replicate. And that passion is what creates greatness. Candidly.
I agree. And that's the thing, that you will play until, at least what I witnessed was, until you have to, like, grow up.
Yep.
So for them, because of all of us being Mexicans and our parents, it was like, once you graduated high school, to them it was like, time to go to work. So they leave the game, you know what I mean? And they'll play, obviously, Sunday League and stuff. But I look back and I'm like, that team would have just, like, I didn't know what to do either, but I was able to get out of it. But if they would have, like, pushed themselves to do that,
correct,
what could have happened between all those stories? Because I'm sure so many players are like, what could have been? What could have been? There's so many, and there will forever be, because football is such a global game, and and talent is everywhere.
For sure.
But it goes back to just like how do you just like know exactly what you don't. Like there's not a specific, I know in the US once again it's very specific, like you start talking to recruits, you go to college, and then possibly make it pro. But what about those people that don't know that stuff, that don't know the process? And I know now it's evolved because we're in 2025 where everything is on a freaking phone and they will tell you like how to message a coach, how to do everything.
Well, it's easy to have film everywhere.
Like, exactly.
Everyone's got it now.
Everybody's got it now, and I'm like, there's 6th graders, 7th graders that have a bunch of film. I'm like, dude, I don't have that film, and I'm...
but what we're talking about is right, because do you see how the level's improving?
It is.
Overall. And it's as disappointing as it is for us. It wasn't our turn at that time, if that makes sense. We still did the best of what we had. And to your point, similar to what you're talking about with Mississippi, that you're leaving a legacy, you're leaving it better than you found it so they can be successful. And it's one of the things that I found at Wake Forest was, as a freshman, you walk in and all the seniors are like, man, you guys are getting like the new gear, that's awesome. And then as you leave it, it's like, man, you guys are getting the new locker room, like the new trainers. Man, we're leaving it better than we found it.
And that's and those things, like, they're great because you're like, all right, I'm walking away, I get hold my head up high, right? But even for like when I was transferring from Grand Canyon to Mississippi, I remember that coach that they brought in, he was he had one of like I think the 5th highest winning record in the NCAA history. He was coming from FC Dallas, like he was the head coach at FC Dallas. He was just named, I think, MLS Coach of the Year, something. Like he was a big time name, right? And so he brought in a whole bunch of like ideas into the program of GCU. So when I walk away, the next year they build them a stadium, and I was like, come on, you know. And those are the things that you're just like, should I have stayed? But you have to just be strong in those situations. No, like what I did was right, and I think. Change, no matter what it is, whether it's I mean right now we're talking about soccer, but in everything I think change is scary
for sure,
but most of the time it's good
in hindsight, right? Like it's trusting that it's good, because in that moment when it's happening you're like, man, this freaking sucks, like, excuse my language, this is awful, like whatever it is, but you're sitting there and when you've been through it a couple of iterations, it's easier to sit in that frustration because you know it's coming, like you know the cycle is flipping back towards like, okay, I know it wasn't dealt in this group of cards for me, and that's disappointing. And if it's something I really invested in, it's even more disappointing. But I also trust the fact that, hey,
you have to trust.
It's going to work. And it sounds like, I mean, not to transition here, but you found yourself in Australia, and things kind of changed for you. Like, similar for me as well. So, like, what was that story like? How did you? Well, first off, graduation and everything else with Mississippi. How did that finish out? And then let's jump into.
So graduation obviously went well. Got to play those 2 years, my last 2 years of eligibility at MC. Had a great time, won several accolades as an individual and as a team, and that's what I wanted. You know, walked away with a great, just like sense of, I don't want to say pride, but just like, all right, I did something at least, you know. All right, on to the next. And it's funny because as soon as I graduated, I went into working as an electrician with my dad because I'm like, I need to do something right now, right? And especially being from, like I said, a Hispanic Mexican background, Mexican dads are very like, okay, like what's next now? Like you gotta work now, right? I'm like, okay. So I went straight into work.
There's no time to waste.
There's no time to waste. And so I immediately went to working, and then I got into, I was invited to a preseason with El Paso Locomotive, which is a USL championship team. And
what's going through your head at this point too? Like, are you, because we're glossing over it, but like, is the dream ending? Are you going to work? Like at that time, are you kind of fighting against the ending of a dream?
100%.
Does that make sense? Like it's like when. I get there's money needs, you have to have a career and all of that, and it's, hey, come be an electrician. First off, the trades are going to go off. Side note. But secondly, it's a great skill to have. But secondly, I know that transition out of being an athlete on a consistent basis kills you. Kills the ego, kills the identity, and you have to become something else. So while you're going through that process and maybe getting some messages from Locomotive and everything's questioning or questionable, and you're looking at a 9-to-5 that you will do because you you have a work ethic and you're going to work. But that mental side of things, like, how was that?
It is tough. It is tough. But I will say, at least from my experience, I didn't see it as a dead end yet, at all. I was still training hard.
So you knew it,
I knew, like, this is not over. Like, there's no way I just finished playing college and that's it. Like, no, there's no way. And my college coach kept in touch, and he was still trying to like make phone calls for me and all this and get me an opportunity, you know, further up in the game. So I just kept training. I stayed ready the entire time. I was still the kid that like Even if I was on vacation with my family, I was waking up to go run in the morning.
Love that.
Like, I was always that guy. And so finally, like, yeah, that locomotive thing came up. First, they invited me to, like, a invitational, like, tryout. And then from there, I got to call in to, like, go into preseason. Long story short, I felt amazing, I dare to say. And it goes back to, like, what we're saying, like, you're trying to do what you can to just be part of the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if they ask you to play somewhere, you play there. So I went from playing all my life as an 8 to then playing the number 5 role back in GCU to playing the number 10 role at MC to here playing the number 9. And I took on that role. I played a couple friendlies. Dare to say, I mean, I only played the last like 15 minutes of every match, and I think I only played in 3 of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up with 2 goals, which was like the leading goal scorer, and I was like, cool, I'll take it. You know what I mean? I was feeling great. But then the coach goes like, you're lacking in experience. And I'm like,
you're not giving me any.
Yeah, I'm like, okay. And, you know, I had to, it was like a tough pill to swallow, right? Because you receive no's all the time. And all the time. And I was just like, okay, well then, he's like, you're more than welcome to stay. Like, you could be here with us. You can train with us. You're part of this team. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I'm not on a contract. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I just decided to take a chance. And that's when the whole Australia thing came up. And I ended up in Tasmania, man.
Love it.
And
I love it.
ended up in Tasmania.
And how did that come about? Like, that you got to tell me. Like, what came up? Like, what did you research it, or did it find you?
So, still like scavenging through, you know, Instagram and the social media world and all that. Came across this this company, and I honestly don't even remember their name because I just had. This is one thing I will say. Most of my stories, when it comes to like agents and stuff, I've had extremely bad experiences, very bad, like to the point where like agencies or specific like
I haven't had a good one yet either, but
dude, I've been homeless at times because of these guys, but whatever. Like, that's another story.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, they're like, all right, we're gonna send your film to Australia, to the UK, to Spain, like so many places. I'm like, okay, cool. And at that time, I did have film from my MC days. And finally, like, they come up with, like, this team in Australia, a couple of them. And I was just like, all right, just give me, I guess, the best offer. Because the offers are not anything crazy.
No, to be honest. Are they paying housing, at least? Like, is
yeah. So that was the thing.
That's kind of how it was for me as well. Like, semi-pro, while you're still playing at Wake Forest, you'll go play somewhere in the summer. Mm-hmm. They're not giving you any money, but they're going to, hey, here's a sandwich and here's a bag type thing. Is that kind of what it was like there?
Well, for us, we were getting paid, like, per game and stuff, plus our housing, and then they gave us a car. And so, like, they took care of us, but it wasn't, like, those contracts that you see on Instagram. You know what I mean?
No, I got you.
But it was like, all right, let's go. And headed out there, and that's actually where I met Cameron Steele and Kenneth Perkison, which you played with at both of them at TST.
Yeah. And
that's where I met them. So we're the Americans, which is weird because for me to be called American, which I am, but I'm Mexican most of the time. But,
most of the time. Fair enough.
But yeah, we were the Americans. We were the freaking what's it called? The foreigners out there.
Yeah.
But it was great. We went into a team, that same thing. It wasn't the best teams, Kingborough Lions, but they treated us well up to a certain point. But they treated us well, and we just had to like leave our mark there, and that's what we tried to do. I think us three as the Americans was kind of like, I don't want to say the perfect dream team, but Kenny was being a goalkeeper. Cam was playing that like number 8 role between me and him. And then when our team like needed somebody to score, like I was playing up top as a striker.
Right.
So like
spawn of the team.
Yeah, so it was just like, okay, we're gonna
for sure.
Like you hold it back down over there, Cam, you're doing your thing in the midfield, and I'll do my best to just keep scoring goals.
Right.
And ended up being the top goal scorer for the team, and I don't know if I finished like 2nd or 3rd in the league. We won several accolades, so did the guys and stuff.
Yeah.
It was good, but you realize like that's not what the goal was not met, because we were still doing everything on the outside to like we were working. Mm-hmm. We had other jobs. Like I worked very Mexican to me landscape work for in the mornings, and then I would get out, and then sometimes I'd go work at
it's not glamorous.
Yeah. I would have 2 jobs at a time, plus going out and coaching, and then playing. I mean, training myself, training with the team, and then playing on the weekends. So it was like a full-on schedule.
Believe me, I know it.
Yeah,
I've done the coaching on top of playing, on top of a 9 to 5, and matching all of that together. It takes a lot of skill, but you're used to it because you've done it before.
And not just used to it, you want it.
You wouldn't do it if you didn't, right? Like
Exactly.
You have to do it. And it's one of those things that you don't know what you're building right now, but then you look back on it 5-10 years, like that is such a cool experience that not many people have.
Dude, yes.
And I'm glad that I had to get up at 5:30 in the morning to go to this like horrible field, basically poor condition field, to just go play. And I would do it again every single day, right? Like it doesn't matter how much would you give to go back to any college like game and just start over right there.
Yeah,
immediately.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And that doesn't mean that I would want to change my trajectory because I loved it, but just relive it, it'd be amazing. I think. And that's one thing that I learned a lot from Cam and Kenny.
Yeah.
When I was out there, I've always been I'm my toughest critic with everything. I will always be that guy for myself, and I was very tough with losses or whatever. Yeah. And I'd be the guy, like, we were living together, but I'd go in there and lock myself in the room. And Cam and Kenny really pushed me to, like, dude, relax. Like, you're doing good, everything. And they gave me, like, a new perspective on things, which was really nice. And that's why, like, to me, like, I love those guys to death because they made that experience even better.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
We know what we lived through when we were out there. All three of us had to go through so many things. Like, at first, when we didn't have a car, like, having to walk to the grocery store, which was not close. I flew off the bike at one point that they let us borrow. Like, just so many things, you know. There's just so many stories. And then just to know, like, hey, we lived that. You know what I mean? It's always going to be something you look back and, like you said, not too many people can say, I played and I lived in Australia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be specifically Australia, but
You went overseas.
You went overseas.
And you chased your dream. And that's similar to your kind of story. I ended up in Australia as well. Yeah. Not to play, but just to, live and work. I'm a New Zealander, Maori, can kind of live and work in both countries. And I took a chance and a jump kind of after soccer ended to travel the world and see what was next for me. Same type of thing, ended up in Australia, and I was a commercial fisherman in Nullarbor, Northern Territory, feeding crocodiles and sharks off the side of the boat.
Cool.
Go down to Bondi Beach and I walk into a gym like I need a job, and I don't say it like that. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Like,
of course.
Still I'm going to lift, like shooting the shit a little bit, and a week later I'm running a gym in Bondi Beach, which is unbelievable.
Bondi Beach is beautiful.
3 months later, you go down to Melbourne, get a job at a casino, and go from there. So it's just piecing things together that you have no idea how it's gonna work, and then you look back and you're like, yeah, it's pretty freaking cool. Like, I like that. I would do it again that way too. And while you're going through it, it's so weird because, like you're saying, you're locking yourself in your room and being like, is this working? Like, am I happy? Like, is this what I want? And then, because I'm doing the same thing. I had a roommate from Azerbaijan in Melbourne.
Okay.
He kept to himself all the time. I kind of kept to myself a little bit, but same type of thing. We would get together, have a beer, and just like chat. Yeah. And he would say the same type of things. Like, I'm going through this of like, I don't know if this is what I want. I'm trying to figure it out, trying to piece it all together, and all of these like things are confusing. Have you seen the show Chopped? Like,
of course, yeah.
So like, you have all these random ingredients of like, I don't know how I'm supposed to use this in my life, but I'm gonna make something work, right? Yeah. And you end up in Australia, just going nuts on Tim Tams, which are the greatest freaking snack of all time. But you're going nuts, and you look back at it, and you're like, yeah, that's exactly how I would do it. So how did you kind of deal with that in that moment? Because I know it's difficult. Like,
it is, yeah. It's once again, I think I have to keep giving credit to Cam and Kenny. Yeah. They helped me out too much with everything out there. But it was just like, you can't sit there and feel bad for yourself even when you're going through tough times. It's obviously easy to like start missing family, to like think like, am I doing things the right way? Should I be here? There was a point during that season where like our head coach, like, he left, and so like, dude, I'll tell you that, like, this is how crazy it was out there that he left. Me, Cam, and Kenny were taking on such a big leadership role that they offered us the head coach job while being players. And we're like, we're not even from here. Yeah, we're like, we're not getting paid enough for that, and and so we considered like possibly like leaving the club. Like, there was just a whole bunch of drama, and it's funny because I dare to say I don't like drama. Like, I don't care for it, but drama will find me, man, and it's happened in so many occasions.
You're the right person.
In so many occasions, and like, I remember I was like, all right, well, I guess we're done with this club. And then like, they brought in a new head coach. He like pretty much like, please, we need you guys. Like, you guys are a big piece for this club. You decided to stay and just finish the season off because, once again, like, we started something, let's finish it. And that kind of went back. That was the same mindset for all three of us. Like, even though we're going through hard times, just finish it, man. Just finish it. And definitely finished it. I ended up even having to come back to get surgery on my knee. Last game of the season, man.
And I'm like, what'd you do?
I had a torn meniscus, lateral ligament, partial ACL, several things on my right knee.
Yeah.
Literally, last game of the season, we had maybe minute like 88 about to end, and I just boom, feel it, and I'm gone. And then it sucked. The next day, me and the boys were going over to Sydney. Like, we were just gonna go like tour around.
Good city to go.
And I went, but it was just such a hard one because the guys are like, I'm a guy that I don't want to show like any kind of weakness. You know what I mean? Even if I'm hurt, like I don't want to show it.
Yep.
And so like, here are your crutches. Like, I'm not gonna use crutches. And then they rented a wheelchair for me. And I remember Cam and Kenny be like, we know you don't want it. And I was like, oh, and I was on the chair like crying because I was so angry. I'm like, I hate that people are looking at me like I'm so weak right now.
Yeah.
But once again, they never like let me fall. You know, and I was out there for almost a year, and they did not let me fall. And not just me, like, we helped each other.
You help each other for sure, but dive into that a little bit more. I don't think we have, as men, enough of that going on these days. It's very frustrating to the point where it's like, you've got people that are in your corner, and you know they're in your corner.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to be yourself, and you're allowed to have that ego that you know you need to like taper down. I'm assuming like you learn like it's like okay, like I can accept help from other people.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay, and I've got a good group that I trust to do that with. Kind of finding that network a little bit. I'm very strong-willed myself in the sense of like I don't want people to help me out. I can help everyone else, but you can't help me. How have you been able to kind of handle or change that process for you mentally? Like, how have you allowed yourself to accept help from people and realize that it's not, weakness from you?
It's not weakness,
it's helpful.
It's just being, I guess, a little more open-minded with those things.
Sure.
I think I will always blame that mindset because of that machismo stuff of parents, of my dad specifically, right?
Yeah.
Of the typical, like, guys don't cry and all those things, And I'm not saying he would say those things, but you kind of grow up and you kind of see those. It's like, okay.
For sure.
But, it's like, it just got to a point where you just start realizing, like, if you open up a little bit, and to the right people, I think that's also very important. Because you can't just open up to anybody, right?
Correct.
But I could see the Cam and Kenny, like, they were pushing to, like, dude, like, we're here to be your friends,
Yeah, exactly.
Like, we're going through this together. And I allowed myself to kind of just like, okay, cool. And obviously that's when you start getting closer. We were together 24/7.
Naturally, yeah.
We were together all the time. And so naturally just like started opening up a little bit more, and then it just got to the point where like, I trust these guys and I will be there for you because I know you're there for me. And you don't, like, I don't want to say like you feel soft because that's not the word, but you just feel like, all right, like, these guys understand me.
Yeah.
And I think when you have the right people, you don't have to put that high ego or like, all right, my guard's up, I don't have to show any kind of emotion. No, it's fine to do it. And I think, like you said, now in modern times, like, a lot of people are like, no, I can't do that. I can't do it. No, you can. You just have to.
For sure, with the right people. Though.
With the right people.
I'm not saying like cry every 5 minutes on the internet.
Right.
Like, I'm saying literally just accept help from other people. Have enough self-awareness to realize where you're at. And if you need more time to figure that out, take that time because it's important. And when you do that, realistically, what happens? Your career takes off. You've got a support system that is not going anywhere. And, we haven't spoken in a year or so. Yeah. Not spoken, but checking in.
Right, yeah.
But you can pick up right where you left off because you have people that you trust around you. And that is all over the world now. So you've put yourself and you've built yourself an identity that's coinciding soccer and real life, and that leads into something greater, and it obviously leads into a job off the field that takes some things to challenge you a little bit. So how did you find that? Like, what was? Because I know it's in Australia. I know you're kind of piecing all this together. I'm not saying you felt lost because you probably didn't, but it's one of those like. Again, for me, I go back to the chopped example. I wouldn't know how to put those ingredients together until everything kind of unfolded for me down the line.
Yeah.
And you're trusting that it's going to. What was that process like? How did you find it? How did they find you? And what was your kind of thought process before accepting it?
Yeah. So
And let me just be very clear, it's the challenge from Horacio Gutierrez.
Yeah, no. So the challenge didn't come about till years later, actually. Okay. So I finished in Australia in 2019.
Got you.
And then we all know 2020 hit and COVID changed the world for many in a good way, for many in a bad way.
For sure.
I came back, I got my knee surgery, and immediately got back into the field. Had a tryout in Greenville in South Carolina. Mm-hmm. Was about to like sign, and then COVID hits, and it's like, well, you have not signed. Like we're not, and we're, right now season's on hold. Mm-hmm. So yeah, everything changed, and then I guess you just jump into everything. Well, I'll just briefly say about something like that summer. I met another agent.
Oh, yeah, no, dive into it.
And then he sent me to Spain, and then I was homeless in Spain.
Stop for a second. That I have not heard from you. Okay, so go to that first. That is wild.
So I was working at a warehouse, furniture warehouse at the time. Because
this is in Australia? Or this is
this was back in Paso.
COVID.
Yeah, after COVID. This was probably like, everything shut down in February, I think, 2020, February around there. Yep. And I was like, all right, well, I just got to keep working. And the thing with me, I didn't want to commit to, like, I have my degree in exercise physiology and exercise science. I didn't want to jump into something that made me commit into something more, because I'm like, I know at some point I'm going to leave because of soccer. I still had soccer in my mind the entire time. I'm like, I don't want to make that huge commitment. And that's why I would pick these, like, random jobs. So I worked at that warehouse, furniture warehouse. I started working at Starbucks. Like, those little things that I'm just like, I know, like, nothing against them, great jobs, right? But work is work. But I knew I could leave at any time. I didn't have a hard commitment with them. Yep. And so then,
so you piece it together. Like, why do you think so few people do that? Genuinely. Because I feel like so many people have these dreams that are not what they do, and they're not willing to piece this together and work it. Because I've worked at pizza joints and Uber and whatever else. That's a very, like, again, it's work, and I'm not dogging on that, but I had higher standards for myself. And you look at that, it's like, I'm still chasing something. Why am I willing to do, these jobs right now when other people aren't, if I know I'm going to be successful later? Do you know what I'm saying there? Like, why don't people take that jump more, do you think?
I think also it has to do with, like, the ego. When you hold yourself to a standard, right? And I think not just yourself, let's say your family, your friends, people that know you, they can see your potential, and you can see it too, right?
Yes, yeah.
And I think everybody has it. Some people are just complacent, which is unfortunate, right? But you have to just, like, be willing to, it's all right, just put your head down and work.
Yeah.
Because this is temporary, whatever it is that you're doing. If it's, for myself, working at that furniture warehouse, I knew I wasn't going to be there forever.
Right.
I wasn't, like, embarrassed to be like, oh, well, I'm going to work. Like, no, you know what? I'm working not just for money, obviously, but because this is also going to help me in some weird way. It will. Like, these little things that I'm doing will also build me up for when the big opportunities come into play. And people want to just jump straight into that big opportunity, and once they get there, they're not ready because they haven't lived those little experiences.
You know what I think the biggest byproduct of that is?
What is that?
You learn what it's like to work those jobs. So you have more compassion for the people that do work those jobs. And then when you finally grow into what you were meant to be doing, you can understand where they're coming from. You show empathy a little bit more. You're able to communicate with them a little bit more as a human. And that creates something that is not replicable by people that don't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you already start from that type of job that is 401k attached and everything's great, hypothetically, conceptually, you understand what it's like to wake up and have to go to a Starbucks and go work there every single day. But unless you're the one living that, and that is your day to day to day to day, and you don't know what's happening after, you don't really know what that person's going through. Yeah. So you took time to walk in those shoes. And I'm not going to say you did it on purpose, because I didn't, and I'm not sure you did either. Like, no one necessarily chooses to, but when they do make that choice, the byproduct of it is phenomenal.
It is.
Does that make sense? Like, it's such a difficult decision to make consciously.
It is. And like you said, you're not making, like, I don't think anybody wakes up and, like, I want to work in Starbucks forever. Like, no, I don't think anybody does that, you know what I mean? But it happens, and so for some people it builds into a great opportunity, and for others it's just temporary. For others it's like, I'm just building myself up, simple as that. Right. And I think that was my case, you know what I mean? And so, I was working at that furniture spot, and then an agent reached out to me, and he was like sending players to Spain and all this, and I did my research. I thought I did at least. And long story short, he's like, all right, you're going over to Malaga in Spain. And I'm like, okay. Well, at the time, Malaga was playing second division. Yeah. And I was like, okay. And he's like, you're not going on contract yet. Like, you're coming out here to training. Like, you're going to be here for at least 2 weeks.
A trial?
Yeah, in a sense, a trial. And then from there, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Cool story.
It's a good call.
Yeah, I'm like, let's go. And so I fly out to Malaga, and as soon as and that should have been like the first, red flag. I show up to Malaga, and the guy's like, there's been some kind of problem. I need you to come to Madrid. So I get on this, it's called the Renfe, which is a train, and I travel to Madrid.
Yeah.
Get to Madrid, I'm like, all right, whatever. Forget Malaga. It's going on. And I forgot the team, Real something in Madrid. I always...
Real Madrid? No,
it wasn't Real Madrid, no. But it was a team in third division.
Okay.
Which, if I dare to say, like, if we know anything about, like, football worldwide, like, I'm sure third division's probably as high as first division out here, possibly.
No,
you know what I mean?
I would agree with that. Maybe
Yeah.
Maybe a little higher.
But I was like, okay, cool. Show up. They bring me into this, like, Casa Club where most of the players were. A lot of them were on tryouts and stuff. But it's a mix of ages. Like, at the time, I think I was 20. So I guess on the older side, definitely. But there was kids that were, like, 15 to guys that were, like, 20-something, older. And, all right, let's get it going. Next day, show up to training. And I realized it was, like, an open tryout. And I was like, whoa, like... And I went up to him. I'm like, look, please don't, like, lie to me. Like, I've been part of these open tryouts as a coach, like, doing those ID camps and all that. Like, I know what this is like. Like, please tell me, like, there's going to be more than this, because I'm not here to just an open tryout and play, like, with all due respect, with some players that are not even supposed to be on the field.
Yeah.
No, relax. Like, this is only day one. Like, believe me, it's only going to get better. And then hit up the second day, same thing. I'm like, dang, okay. And then he had to know where he called me. He goes, hey, also, I'm going to need 2,000 euros. And I was like, first off, I had bought a one-way flight to Spain.
You paid for it?
For my flight, yeah, for my flight.
I thought they...
No, I paid for my flight one way. And I'm like...
okay.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to need 2,000 euros. I'm like, I'm not paying you for anything. He's like, no, it's because this is how it works, blah, 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 how it works. And I'm like, the only way I pay you is if you get a part of my contract. Which is how
agents work.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like 10%.
And
even that's too high.
Yeah. But he's like, no, like, this is how everybody's been doing it here, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm not paying you. And I'm telling you, man, it was like 10 at night. And he goes, get out the house. I got out the house, and I just, like...
What?
I just remember I catched a bus straight to downtown Madrid. And then everything that could have gone wrong went wrong.
Yeah.
Cards were frozen. Phone service was not working at all. Literally, even with Wi-Fi, it was just simply not working. I was doing my best. And I didn't want to tell my family. That's one thing. I did not want to tell them.
You don't ask for help.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to ask for help, nothing. And so I lived in the streets of Madrid, downtown Madrid, for like a solid almost week.
Shut up.
I was out there just like...
My God.
Living it up.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
I know Madrid well, but that is not how I would spend that week. That's wild. So how, like, what?
It got to the point where I finally, like, I started just reaching out to clubs, like, through Instagram. Just any club that I could see. I didn't care if they were 4th, 5th division, first. I didn't care. I messaged freaking Barcelona. I messaged everybody. I was like, I just need an opportunity.
Yeah.
But then what ended up happening was that the clubs that did answer, they're like, well, what kind of visa do you have? And I'm like, I don't have one. They're like, that was your first problem.
Yeah.
They're like, the only way you were going to sign a contract is if you came in with a visa. The agent never told me these things. Oh. And obviously, people are like, you should have known, but it's like, I didn't.
Because I was about to say that, and based on what we talked about before, it's like it's similar to the college thing. Like, you don't know what you don't know, and you can't know it. Like, you don't have ChatGPT be like, hey, is this real? Like, you don't know. So I get it for sure, and that's a tough thing.
But it's
also a story for your experience. You look back, it's like, hey, like, I tried it, and now I know how to read people. I can usually tell now intuitively when somebody is actually going to be for real or they're full of shit. And you realize, I mean, from a week in Madrid, which is, it could be a cool experience. I don't know, like being on the street, probably not, but like
it was all right.
It's one of those, like, you're happy that it's over and you get to say that you've kind of experienced that. But that's a tough time.
It was fun.
So
and finally,
like, came back, or like, what was the?
Yeah. Okay. So finally, one of my friends from Paso, he's like, look, I got this buddy who has Airbnbs out there. He said he's willing to help you out, because also didn't have much money with me. Like,
of course,
I didn't. And so he's like, I was like, dude, I appreciate it, but I can't really pay him. He's like, no, he's gonna help you. And I'm like, okay. So yeah, I stayed with that guy for like solid like 4 or 5 days. I don't know how long it was. And then finally,
stop for a second. Like, the coincidence of that. Like,
yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying there? Like, it's. And I don't know if it's the higher power, whatever you want to call it. It's almost pre-written to where it's like, yes, this is a huge problem, but the solution's right there.
It's right there.
How did that happen? Like, I don't understand that, but like, you call one random friend, it's like, oh yeah, my boy, he's got you.
He's got.
Like, that's wild. Like, think about that for a second. Like, that doesn't happen in a different country, across an ocean. Like, that's wild.
Yeah, and I was lucky enough to like obviously know the language, which helped a lot, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was just crazy how things happen. And even that guy, he was still trying to help me. Like, he's like, I'm trying to help you with my contact. But long story short, obviously didn't happen. It wasn't going to happen. I didn't have a visa, nothing.
Sure.
And I finally told my parents, like, I got to go back. And I told them the story, and they were just like, why didn't you call? I was like, you guys know how I am. But everything went well.
Yeah.
With
reason.
Yeah. But flew back to the U.S., and then I decided to go live in Houston. And that's when I started working at Starbucks. And I started working at Starbucks with and the only reason I joined Starbucks was because one of my closest friends was working there, and he's like, dude, do you want to just work with, like, we could work together? And I'm like, okay,
done.
I was playing with like a UPSL team. They had provided me housing, same thing, you know, as and I was like, cool, I'm just doing this. And then that's when my whole trajectory in a way changed. My ex-girlfriend, obviously current girlfriend at that time, she applied to this show, and this show is called Exatlon, and it's on Telemundo. Yeah. It's like an obstacle course, racing, whatever. And she applied. I remember she applied right when I got back from Spain. We had gone to go visit my grandma. My grandma was watching the show, and she's like, I would love it if you do this. And I'm like, Grandma, I'm a soccer player. I don't do this, blah blah blah. And she told her, and she kind of just did it to, like, you know, please my grandma. Like, oh look, I did it. Worst application ever. Like, she left things blank. She did not care, but she just wanted to, you know, put a smile on my grandma. She gets a call back. And they're like, look, this is what's going on. We would love to have you. She's like, look, I'm finishing up my master's, but I think my boyfriend would be great at it. They push her to the side. I come in into this show
without doing anything. Didn't lift a finger.
I did not know I had only seen it that day with my grandma, but I did not know, like, what the principle of the show was.
Sure.
Nothing. It's like, I remember just one day calling in Starbucks, and at the time I hadn't, like, quit. I had just said, hey, I'm flying out to Miami. Like, they reached out, they're like, hey, we need you to come to Miami real quick, do some tests, sign contracts. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
Same thing. You don't know what's going on, but
good for you to take the leap. Right after being, like, cut out of one.
Yeah.
How difficult would it be to, like, go do that again right there for something else? And it's like, well, I'm still going to take that jump.
I'm still going to take it. And it's just because also, like, it was so different. Like, they send me a freaking flight. They send me everything. And I'm like, okay, well, this is legit, you know? So I flew out, did my physical test, my psych test. Like, they do all those things for, like, reality shows. Like, you got to do all these freaking tests. And,
a lot of questions, huh?
Yeah, too many. Like, and they ask the same thing, like, 3 times. Like,
they do?
Well, it's funny, like, I don't know why they do these kind of, I understand why they do it, right? But straight up, they'd be like, true or false. It's like, I've thought about killing my father. True or false? Or like, and then like, several questions later, they'll be like, I would think about hurting a family member. Like, little things like that.
Just like random, like, get your thought down and ask a violent question. That's so weird.
They ask the randomest things, but it's part of the process. And so yeah, I come back. And I'm like, okay, well, I guess this is happening. They finally called me. They're like, yep, you're coming in January 3rd, 2021.
Okay.
Was my official, like, flight to go to the Dominican Republic to start filming.
Gotcha.
Obviously, I quit. And
What's going through your mind?
Dude,
do you know how big of a show it is at that time? Like,
no,
do you know?
No idea.
Okay.
No idea yet.
Classic. Duh. Like, that has no clue.
No clue, but I'm like, all right, it's time to go to work. And then another hiccup happens. January 1st, 2 days prior before me leaving, they call me. You're not in. You're not coming. Don't step on that flight.
Do you think that's a tactic? To get you to stop thinking about it and then, like, have you come in more fresh, or do you think it was true?
Well, according to them, it was true. Like, what ended up happening was they ended up picking some other guy who, I mean, even though it's a competition show, it's reality TV.
Yeah.
Stories sell, you know, and I am fortunate enough to say that I Like I'm blessed in terms of like luckily my parents are healthy. They're divorced, but other than that, like I haven't had any like tragedies and stuff.
Sure.
Nobody's ill. All those things, and those things are stuff that sells on TV. Unfortunately, you know,
Yeah.
when a person like so, what ended up happening? The guy that they chose over me, great guy. I actually talked to him, but he's a great guy. But he was the first guy to be from Uruguay coming on the show. He was an aerospace engineer, and his mom was ill. I believe she had cancer.
Okay.
That story sold much more than this guy's a soccer player.
I mean, when we unpack, he was homeless in Madrid, and like,
I mean, if I would have told him all that.
Correct.
But
But I understand what you're saying as well. Like, there's other storylines to sell.
And so he ended up going. They picked him over me last minute.
Sure.
And I remember I was so mad, and what did I do? I just ended up working again as an electrician. I went back, and this time out here in California, and it was probably like 2 months went by, and I'm like, yeah, they're not gonna call me because they did tell me like at some point you'll possibly come in. 2 months went by, and I'm like, I'm done. This is not gonna happen. Mm-hmm. I've quit that job out there, and I decided to come back to El Paso. And it's crazy once again how things happen. I had decided like at the time my girlfriend lived in Michigan, ex-girlfriend, and I was like, okay, it's Monday. I'm gonna spend this last week here in El Paso.
Sure.
By Saturday, I will move to Michigan, and let's see what happens. Like, I'm not saying we're gonna live together.
Yeah.
She was working at a hospital and stuff, but okay, now it was like I thought that was the next step for me. Like, okay, I'm just gonna move to Michigan. We had already spoken about me possibly working as a translator in a hospital.
Okay.
I was like already looking up for licenses and all that, and I'm like, all right, well then this is my next step. You know, I guess this is it because we had been in. She put up with me when I was in Australia. Like we didn't see each other for almost a year.
That's tough to find, actually. Like distance like that's tough.
Yeah, it was very hard, but I was like, okay, well this is the next step. And then how crazy things happen. I told her that Monday. They call me Wednesday. We need you here tomorrow. And it's just like, wow.
So you similar to myself in other situations, and I'll explain those later on in this podcast. But you find yourself in like. You're a planner like I am for the most part. I feel like you do, like you figure out what you want, you find a way to get it realistically.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying you have to be like 7:05 and doing this.
Right.
I'm saying, but you know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And you identify it quickly. Like it's you go back to El Paso for a week and it's like, all right, what's my next step? You can't sit idling for a little bit.
Forever.
You have to go find something else. Where's it going with that? That'll come back to me. I was going with something. That will come back to me. You're just sitting there like idling and you can't let that happen. And then as soon as that's what it was. So you make a decision because you don't want to idle for so long, and then as soon as you make that decision, it's almost like that was the catalyst for everything to come for you. And then you finally find you get what you wanted, but it's almost like you're in this position where it's like you have to tell somebody no, or tell somebody that you can't, and it's tough because it's like. I tried to be patient and wait for this to show up for me as long as I possibly could to not hurt you. Because I am trying to be like empathetic and to be like there. And then life just deals you a different hand and it's like I can't. I have to do this.
And that was
how difficult of a conversation is that, of course. Like you're put in a situation that you can't control and you're playing with someone else's feelings that you don't want to play with. And you've tried to not do that and you're still being put in that position.
100%.
And at the same time, I still think you have to do what's right for you, right?
And that's the thing that you have to, like, I have always been a person to, like, you know, put other people's feelings ahead of mine.
Yeah.
But those rare occasions when I have picked myself over others, you end up hurting others, you know? And it's unavoidable, really.
Yeah.
And especially because it's people that you care about, people that you love.
For sure.
And, I remember having that conversation and she's like, I don't want to use the word begging, but literally just, like, please, like, don't go, please don't go. And I'm like, I'm at the airport, like I'm leaving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so those are not easy conversations to have, but once again, like you just look back and you're like, I made the right choice. I made the right choice, and you know, they flew me out to the Dominican Republic, and boom, that changed everything. I was out there for a long time.
Were there nerves out there, like going into it? So the thing is, like once you have that conversation, I'm sure you gave plenty of empathy to her, but there's that feeling of relief of I can go focus on this now. Is that true? Like potentially, like you can kind of focus on what you want to do because you have made that decision. Now you have to focus. Like you've cut it to where it's like this is now what I'm doing. That decision's been made. I've jumped out of the plane as a skydiver or whatever. I'm there. Now when you're there, do you have more confidence because you've kind of jumped off the plane? Does that make sense?
No, I see what you're saying.
That's a horrible analogy, but you get what I'm saying there?
No, I see what you're saying. I definitely understand it. And yeah, you kind of, you have no other choice but to commit.
That's
right?
my point. Yes.
You have to commit to it. There's a couple people that I know that because they didn't commit fully, they ended up like going home soon. They ended up like throwing the towel during the show and like just losing on purpose to go home because they miss their people. And we all do, right? I think it's human nature to miss your people, but you get to the point where like I saw it, and I always said it when I was there. Like I have fought to make it as a professional soccer player in so many ways, right? For years of my life, being disciplined, being the person that I try to excel in everything that I do. This is now how life through this big opportunity. Like I didn't make it the soccer way.
Correct.
But now, life, God said, you know what? All that work is going to be put into something else. And this is the opportunity I'm giving to you.
That's the goal of what I'm trying to get at here. And it's so freaking difficult because I sit here and I'm like, yeah, but I wanted that.
Yeah.
Right? and I know everyone else does. Like, I know they do. Like, when it's like, hey, I really worked for that, and that's what I earned, and that's what I wanted.
Yeah.
And I'm going through the same evolution myself, and I'm very proud of my progress that I'll get into later on, but it's one of those, like, that change, like, that acceptance of, okay, your will, whatever it is, like, that's what I have to do. How do you get yourself behind that the way you got yourself behind soccer? Because I know that's got to be difficult.
It's very difficult, and yeah, I took that opportunity like that, like, oh, this is the big opportunity now, because I knew that no matter the outcome of that show, there's going to be more opportunities coming.
Correct.
And I personally still didn't think I was done with soccer. Sure. And yeah, so once the season ended, I actually ended up going to play with Cam and Kenny in North Carolina with a professional indoor team. And we lived a very similar situation to Australia because it wasn't that organized. To this day, they still owe me money. Not Cam and Kenny, but the team.
No, I figured.
But it was just like we ended up winning the entire thing, and it was just another story to the book. But I was like, all right, well, I guess I'm still not done.
Right.
So you're doing both at the moment. You're piecing together the shows here.
You're still like
coming.
wondering.
You're also like, this is my passion, my outlet to go have fun, and it's with my boys that I know.
Exactly.
My support group that's here. That if I need to bounce ideas off of, they're going to give me the best advice I can get, and I get an outlet that I love. Done.
Exactly.
Makes so much sense.
It makes sense. It makes sense because you're still unsure of what's gonna come.
Correct.
I knew that Exatlon. I wasn't sure if they would call me back. I didn't know how that worked, and I also wasn't aware of other reality TV shows because I was not a reality TV guy myself. I had no idea about anything, and then because of the contacts I made through Exatlon, the whole thing of the challenge comes about. He's like, look, I met this guy, and he said he could get us into the challenge. And I'm like, I don't know what that is, but sure. Awesome. He said MTV, and I'm like, sure, let's go. And that's how it came about, because once again, I did not know anything about the challenge. And I had already finished playing soccer in North Carolina. I had spent a year of just like traveling hard. That 2022 year, I was looking through my gallery on my phone not so long ago, and I mean, I was everywhere. Like, one weekend I was snowboarding in Colorado. Next weekend I was sitting in a beach in Puerto Rico. The next one I was doing a freaking ultra run in Vermont. Then the next weekend I was in Vegas. Like, I was just traveling it up. And that was my version of, like I don't drink alcohol. I don't party. I don't smoke. I don't do any of those things.
It's your entertainment.
But that's my way of, and I was like, why not? Let's just go with it. And I was having a great time, just doing that.
What was your favorite spot? Like, favorite of that time period?
Of that time period? Oh, man. I enjoyed Puerto Rico too many times. I think we went back like twice for that one.
I respect that answer.
Puerto Rico was a great time. Then it got to the point where I'm like, all right, well, what's... In the process of like traveling, that's when the call came up. I was actually in Vegas when they're like, all right, you're about to do this. And you know what? Also, a close second to the place, my favorite places was the Grand Canyon. I had the agent had reached out to me and he's like, hey, we need to talk. And I'm like, with all due respect, dude, I know you don't know me, but I'm going to shut my phone off. And I'm like, I'm going to go to the Grand Canyon. I will reach out to you back in a week.
I love that. No, but seriously, because it's so important, especially as things start to get more hectic.
Yeah.
Hey, this is my time. I'm going to do what I want. Don't talk to me.
Don't talk to me.
And in the most respectful way. Hey, I love you. We're going to work together, but give me my week so I can be who I need to be for you later on. Yeah,
exactly.
And then you take your time, because I travel and it's therapeutic for me too. Nature, getting out there, seeing everything, feeling it, running everything. Like I'm fitness as well.
Yeah.
Where it's just like not to the level that you're at yet, but we'll get there. It's one of those that like having that and making that time and carving that out for yourself is so important, especially when you have it, because it's gonna be so difficult to tell them, you know, that meeting that we've always had for 5 weeks or whatever. I'm done doing that. But if you carve it out ahead of time, like this is mine, it gives you that time. You have to do that because it keeps your authenticity high. You're no longer just taking in information from other people and spitting it back out, regurgitating it.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking your time, absorbing that information, allowing it to either change you or throwing it away, basically.
Yeah.
And then you grow from it. So you're basically taking all of that and growing from it.
You are, and you gotta value yourself. You know what I mean? And beyond that, if an opportunity is for you, it will be there for you no matter what.
Correct.
I knew that by me telling this guy, hey, I know the casting process is going on right now.
Yeah.
But wait, I'm going to do what I need to do.
For sure.
And it could have easily gone south. They could have been like, you know what? Yeah, I'm never going to call this guy again.
Right.
But no, it still worked out,
You
right?
start to realize you have a little bit of, not pushback necessarily, but the level of confidence that you get to exude allows you to run your own show. Now the agent is now working for you.
Yes.
You're not being run by him. You're now telling him, hey, this is what I want. You work for me. Give me my time.
Give me my time. Like you said, once I come back, all right, what we're going to do,
still there. Yes.
let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so that's exactly what happened. Came back after that amazing trip in Grand Canyon, and then the whole challenge thing happened. And that's, I dare to say, yes, Hexathlon was what opened up the doors to this whole reality TV world.
Sure.
But I will say the challenge, because it's a much more known show than Hexathlon.
Do you think it's a difference between U.S. and Mexico?
Well, the thing is, the Hexathlon is in the U.S., but because it's on Telemundo,
that's what I meant.
Yeah, it's like not as very well known.
Sure.
Whereas the challenge, which is on MTV, which I hate to say, it's kind of dying because nobody has cable anymore.
Correct.
But it's still very known. It's been going on for now. They're airing right now the 41st season. So I mean, it's a successful show, obviously.
Correct.
And I went into season 38 as my rookie season, Ride or Dies. And that changed everything as well, because that completely, it exposed me to much more. Hexathlon didn't give me that exposure. I also will say that, I guess backtracking just a little bit, when I first left Hexathlon, like I turned off my social media.
Sure.
I was not going through it. Me and that girl broke up.
Sure.
Like just so many things that I was just like, okay.
Can you compare in a way, and maybe Hexathlon gave you some exposure, but the challenge exposure to maybe freshman year of like college, in the sense that you have so much to learn that you don't know, and there's so many different rules with social media, with how you communicate with people, that you are so unaware of, and how you kind of navigate that. Is that something that you had to go through, or not really?
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because I had not actually thought about that analogy until now that you mentioned it. It's funny, I could actually dare to say like Hexathlon was my GCU.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I walked in there like not sure, like okay, what's going on?
Sure.
Like, is this gonna continue? Kept it going, and then like, I guess the only big difference was I left GCU because I wanted something better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying the challenge is better, but it was a bigger opportunity
For sure.
And so then I jumped into that one and then that exposed me completely. That's where the accolades came in. That's when all that, because that's where I was like, I was lucky enough that my rookie season, it went well.
Sure.
I was named like Male Competitor of the Year, Rookie of the Year, like all these great things.
This is a better question right here. You just talked about being homeless in Madrid and how to deal with that. You still have to deal with the accolades coming forward, because that is a completely different poison if you think about it. Like your ego can become so inflated. It hasn't, thankfully, obviously.
Yeah.
But how do you deal with that? Because like those are two complete opposite ends of the spectrum. You're dealing with homelessness, and then everyone wants to talk to you. Like everyone knows you and loves you and wants everything from you. So like, how do you handle that whole thing, maintaining yourself?
Yeah, it goes back to your morals, you know what I mean? Your family,
Sure.
the people that surround you, how you grew up, how you were raised. I think, and to this day, I'll say like, I've done now 3 seasons of the challenge, 3 seasons of Hexathlon. I've been on 6 seasons of reality TV. It has definitely like changed my life completely, right?
Sure.
And I still say it's only the beginning, because there's more to come. I will say that there's more to come. But at the end of the day, like me personally, nothing has changed for me in terms of myself.
Sure.
I still see myself as this kid from El Paso who was chasing the soccer dream, and other opportunities opened up, and I took them.
Yeah.
I have no reason to change, to not be humble, to think I'm somebody I'm not, because I'm just...
You know where you came from.
Yeah, I know where I came from.
And
I'm just a regular guy that happened to take those opportunities, and I ran with them. Blessed that I was successful at them, and the people have been able to connect with me, have been able to, which is very hard to, like, for people to connect with you through a TV screen.
Yeah.
Because you don't know who's real, who's fake.
Well, this is my whole point here. It's because you worked at Starbucks.
Yeah.
I'm joking, kind of, but you worked at Starbucks.
Yeah.
You did the electrician. You chased your dream when no one else wanted, like when no one else did. You lived and were homeless in a different country, in 2 different countries.
Yeah.
That's relatable, and is natural. And you've also gotten to the point where you can talk to the janitor and you can talk to the CEO because you're approachable. But it's that humility that you started with. And if you keep it through the entire process, that's how you maintain your authenticity, in my opinion.
I agree.
And I think you're doing a phenomenal job of it because you've translated it into other avenues to be successful. So I want to talk, obviously reality TV is a massive just catalyst for other things.
Yeah.
But you've been able to, it seems like, marry all of that exposure to something you truly care about when it comes to endurance racing or when it comes to pushing your body to different limits. And it's one of those that, like, you found an outlet that gives you the same return on investment, allows you to feel accomplished, and then you can carry the next guy too. Because if you're posting this and you're bringing, a program or a movement, that's going to help the next person.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that. How are you finding that? Like, what is the goal there?
Yeah. So you got to a point where, it was fun from jumping to show.
Sure.
But then you also get to the point where, like, the love and support have been unreal. I will say that. I think it's funny because I was just literally 2-3 days ago, I was down in San Diego and I had a live show for the challenge, and it's just crazy, like you said, going from being homeless, which I just laugh at it every time I think about it, but I was being homeless too. Like, not everybody knows me. My social media following not the most amazing or anything, but if I walk around like in the street, at least once somebody's gonna recognize me, and it's so crazy. I think it's so cool.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, all right, people recognize me because of my athleticism, because of what I've brought to the show, my just being genuine and all that. What can I do now to just, like, give back a little bit? You know what I mean? And not just give back to others, but to help me as well.
What's the next step?
And so, like, just recently I made this, it's called Dopamine Club. And we're like, I don't want to call it a run club, because run clubs are obviously right now, they're in and everybody's a run club. But we're just trying to, like, build a community, like you said, of people to come out and push themselves. And we go from, like, we've only had 2 events, actually. It just started. Just started, but the whole point is to, like, be traveling around the entire U.S., and bringing people together, using that fan base.
Almost like having regional clubs throughout the U.S. that are almost competing with each other in a healthy way. Like, is that what you mean? Like a somewhat run club in San Diego and then a somewhat run club in Chicago that is also fitness-based, and there's a community behind it, on top of let's go grab a coffee after and figure out how to, like, grow as humans. Is that kind of the goal?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's the reason why the name fits so well, because dopamine, a lot of people, like, don't know what that is. And dopamine, literally, if you Google it, all it says, like, it's just a feel-good, like, hormone in a sense. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And you get that by doing things that make you feel good. But in the back of our shirts, we wrote, "This is what real dopamine feels like," because a lot of people nowadays, they find the dopamine through watching TV, through watching their phones.
Correct.
It's like, no. We want you to forget your phone for a second. Forget your phone. Come out. I'm not asking you to be a freaking fitness freak of, like, all right, we're going to be running 50 miles. No. I want, if you haven't even ran, just come out.
Yeah.
Come out, have a good time, chase that real dopamine, right? Let's get after it. We're going to work.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, I do want people to work hard when they're out here at these events. And then you're building a strong community. You have other positive individuals that are going to be pushing you, like, hey, well done, keep going.
Yes.
I'm not there to prove, like, oh, I'm better than you or he's better than you. No,
there's no ego.
There's no ego.
Exactly.
It's just here, everybody come out, have a good time. And I've just said it, like, work hard, but there's nothing better than once you've finished working hard, you have that dopamine come in.
For sure.
And
is it something that I know you've done 100-mile races. I know you've pushed yourself to the exhaustion, like to the point where your body is responding in ways that are just not natural. And it's one of those that, like, I think suffering is necessary to create dopamine. That's what the real dopamine potentially is. Like, scientifically, you work hard, you feel better. That's obviously what it is. People start at different places, so what is hard for somebody might be easy for somebody else. We want to cater to everybody, obviously. Everyone is going to start from somewhere and grow together, but from your perspective, was there a dopamine hit from a race or something that you went through and was like, wow, like, this is... I have to bring this to the next generation. I have to bring this to my community because of how great it is. Like, what was that moment like?
That moment actually was a while ago. It was years ago, and I've slept on myself because it was a project that me and a couple buddies have started.
Sure.
But it was one of those, the same thing, like, oh, let's do it, and we never really took that step, you know.
Okay.
And so I was like, you know what, I'm done. Let's just do this. But to me, there's this one time, and I think it was, what year was it? Going into 2024 or going into 2023, that I just decided, like, I had never done an ultra, I had never done any of those things. Like, I had done Spartan races, I had done all those type of things. But then I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna run for 24 hours straight. And I decided to start 12 p.m. of the 31st of December and finish at 12 p.m. of the 1st of January.
Was this? I trust that you ran 24 hours. Was someone like? Was this an official thing, or did you just make this up?
This was on my own.
That you just like, I got this idea. I'm like, I have to try this. Okay, you're a psycho. But go ahead.
But I will say, I didn't run the 24 hours, and I think that's the whole reason why this dopamine thing kind of like started, at least for myself, because it gave me a perspective on so many things. First off, like, I pushed my body to points where, you know, your body shouldn't be pushed. Like, at the end of it, I was peeing blood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's to the point that I pushed my body. And I just ran 12 hours. I ran for 12 hours, and I did, like almost 60 miles. I don't know what it was. Something like that.
It's insane.
I had never done anything like it. I didn't have the prep for it. I didn't have, like, I was just literally, I put a little table in the garage of the house, put a bunch of snacks, and then I'm like, all right, I'll be running here. I'll come back here and there, eat something, and go back and just keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep going. And I was a lunatic because obviously it's New Year's, right?
Yeah.
I was running and people are going into bars. You see the fireworks, and I'm just running. I'm just going through the pain cave. And that feeling of, like, once everything was done, literally, it's so vivid to me. I was laying in the shower after I had finished, and it was a failed mission. First off, it was a failed mission because I didn't run the 24 hours. I ran 12.
Sure.
So I was already feeling, like, down on myself and stuff. I remember I walked down, like, Happy New Year's, and I went straight up to, like, just shower.
Yeah.
And I was laying on the tub, and I just start, like, peeing blood. And that exact moment, I'm like, it sounds so weird, but I'm like, this is what I wanted. Like, I wanted to go through this freaking pain, this suffering, to then feel good after. The feeling good did not come in right there.
Do you think that the feeling good is knowing where the limit is and that you pushed it? Like, is that what the dopamine, do you think?
I think it's more of knowing that you can still go more, in a sense. Like, at that point, I hit my limit, right?
Sure, but
it's like, this is only the first limit. I'm going to break this limit because I'm going to build another one. And then I break down, and I think for me, it's that. You know what I mean?
So you set the baseline from that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you now know you can get 60 miles in, now it's 62, or whatever
exactly.
65, whatever the next interval is, but you have now set that, and you know it. Like,
exactly.
It's been set for you. You know exactly what that number is, and what gets, my boss used to say this actually, what gets measured, or what gets tracked gets done. Mm-hmm. So when you actually put the work in and track exactly what you're doing, you can improve on it the next time.
You can improve on it every single time. And that's the thing, that you can always improve on it. You know? It's funny, I've been, I just had there was a 127 mile race, like, not this weekend, the last one before that, but it was in a relay team. And I was part of it and ran like 33 miles in it. And it's funny, I'm new to this stuff, right? Because I don't want to say I'm an ultra runner. I dare to say, like, I just want to be...
Running's a facet.
Exactly. But I've done the Spartan races, I've done the high rocks, I've done the everything. I just want to jump into everything, the Ironmans, all that stuff. Like, that, I just want to be the best I can be with all those things.
Sure.
But yeah, like, at one point 100 miles was thought as like, oh, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, I was running with guys like, oh yeah, I just ran the freaking Cocodona 250 miles, and I'm just like, all right.
You don't see those people out. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, or just in a grocery store. Like, you don't realize they exist because it's like, wait, you actually did do that. They're under the radar because they love what they do, and they don't need to tell anyone. And it's crazy how big of a community that actually is.
It's a huge. It's growing tremendously.
Yeah.
And their version of dopamine is obviously very different to like mine or yours or anybody else's because, you know, they're in a whole nother extreme.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it just goes back to the same foundation. You worked hard, and then you get that feeling afterwards. And that's exactly what I'm looking for in Dopamine Club. All those people that have not done a single thing. Like, we just did Culver City Stairs, which is here in LA.
Yeah.
And I told them, it's going to be more of a leg workout. You know what I mean? You're going up the stairs. To me personally, with all due respect, like, it's not hard. You know, I've done a lot harder things.
Yeah.
But there was people that are like, I've lived here in LA my entire life, and I've never done them. I'm like, look, first off, I don't know applause because you're here right now.
Absolutely.
And you're about to do it.
Yeah.
And people surprised me because I had already said, like, you could only do it once, okay, we're shooting for 2, and most people ended up doing 3. You know what I mean? And they were dead tired. They were up on the top of the hill, and I'm like, you guys ready for another one? Like, they wouldn't say much, but they did it. You know what I mean? And that's what I like. I like to be able to push people in a positive way, make them feel like they put in the work because they did.
Yeah.
Not just, like, fake it, but they did put in the work. And even if you went up once that day, I don't care. You did it.
Yeah.
You did it. And now it's cool to come back to, you know, once everything's done with, you know, we're all hanging around like you said.
Yeah.
And people right now, they see me because of reality TV, right? But it's cool that they could see the person I am. Yeah, exactly. At the end of the day. And then for them to come up like, dude, you don't understand. Like, obviously, yeah, I love this dopamine stuff, but because of you, I'm training now. Like, I've been putting in the work, and
you see the impact you make.
Yeah, and it means a lot. It means a lot because
it's a little dopamine back, like for your
exactly
your investment in it.
Exactly. And I would love to be the guy to be like, oh yeah, well, I'm donating millions of dollars to, like. Unfortunately, I'm not that guy. I don't have that, you know, but I'm doing what I can.
What you can.
Like, that's the point. Like, it's a percentage thing. It's like taxes. Like, they need to donate a certain percentage, right? Like, you're donating a percentage of what you can give right now.
Yeah.
And as that grows, then you get to give more. Obviously, what happens as soon as you get stuff, as soon as the right people get things, they give it away to everybody else. Everyone, it's the theme among all great people, right? And you start to look at the community that you're building. I would love to be a part of it at some point, if possible, and we'll get an endurance race at some point as well. Might not be 100 miles to start with. I'll start with a marathon maybe, but we'll get some stuff going there. But the community that you're building is huge.
Yeah.
And it's huge because it's not just based off of celebrity. It's not based off of reality TV. It's not even based off of just soccer. It's based off of all of those things becoming cohesive in a person that is handling himself very well and then giving it to the next group of people that need it. And that's exactly what I think Dopamine Club is doing. Like, that's huge.
Exactly, yeah. Like I said, we're only getting started, and I think I will continue to say it's only the beginning. Not just for dopamine, for myself, for my career, whatever, wherever that is. Because I will say I'm a person that lives, how can I say, like, with so many unknowns. Like, I'm improvising constantly.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And I think it goes back to what you're saying, like. The question, a lot of people love to ask the question, like, oh, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I personally hate it. Why? Because I don't know. And I think it's good to have these certain, like, goals, right? Like, for example, I would love to have a family and all this. But if you don't happen to have that in 5 years, it doesn't mean you failed.
No.
You know what I mean? And I think you got to keep improvising. Like, life could only be lived going forwards, but you could only understand it connecting dots going backwards, right?
Yep.
And if you were to ask 20-year-old me when I was, you know, homeless in Spain, like, where would you be in 5 years? Exactly, like, I don't know. I had no clue at all. I was expecting to be married at 27, have kids, all this. Dude, I just turned 29 not so long ago, and I still want the family. I still want all that. But you know what? It's okay. Everybody's going through the journey.
How you get it is no longer that important to you. Like, you know what you want, you know the end goal, for sure. But the journey you're given is freedom, and it's there to have. Because as soon as you say exactly how it has to be, and then chase that only, you eliminate so much potential that you're missing out on. Because you, like, could have been a professional MLS player. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, and could have been an EPL player, whatever else, I'm not limiting that. But you could have played and accomplished a dream as a professional MLS player. Do you think you would be as happy right now as you are doing what you're doing right now? Because that's a tough question for me, because I obviously drafted as well. Yeah. I'm still answering for myself, but I'm curious.
I don't know. I truly don't know. I think because of soccer still being around, I think I would have said yes. Mm-hmm. But because of the experience I've lived now, I'm like, I don't think so. And it's funny because my mom asks me that all the time. She's like, just imagine if Locomotive would have signed me back in 2019. If they would have signed me, I would have been like the happiest kid in the world at the time. Like, no way, I'm signing my first, like, official contract, blah, blah, blah. But then what if that would have died 2 years later?
Exactly.
And then I'm like, you know what I mean? And so that's just the crazy thing about just life in
The
general.
hindsight part of it. But
Yeah.
you just look at it, you're like, I don't necessarily know how it has to be. Like, I don't know this path needs to be this specific. Just allow for that to happen. Allow for things to unfold. And like you said, react to everything that kind of happens.
React. I think that's it. Because there's so many unknowns in terms of, I've always said as well, like, for me personally, I think there's only two things that you can control.
For sure.
And that's like your work ethic with anything, whether it's working out in the gym, whether it's work at your job, whatever, and your attitude.
Absolutely.
Everything else is truly an unknown. Everything else, like, there's so many things that you don't know what's gonna happen. Like, and if you could control those two things, everything else could possibly go your way. And that's how I see it. Even if, worst case scenario, you're driving around, you get into a car crash, if you're gonna be mad, upset, right? I'm not saying don't be upset, but if you can at least try to keep about it, like, all right, whatever, it's done. At least I'm okay. That other person's okay, whatever.
Next one.
Next thing.
Yep.
But if you're over here like, oh, how did you do this, blah, 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 that already ruined your
The whole day.
the whole day, and it's could possibly ruin the next couple of days because now you're just banking on like, oh yeah, this idiot did whatever. And I think like, dude, those are uncontrollable factors.
For sure.
So many, and I've lived it with so many, like reality TV. In so many occasions, like I was just talking about it, like my last experience on the challenge was a very unfortunate one because I won't get into detail, but they tell me I win an elimination, then I don't know, they're like, wait, never mind. An hour later, like, you lost, you're going home after they had already told me I won. Dude, those are things that like they hurt, right?
Yeah, of course.
But I'm like, I spoke out about it because it's my truth, right? And not just my truth, but a lot of people saw it. But I can't just, like, I had to just continue. You know what I mean?
You can't hang your hat on that and stay there.
Yeah, like, it obviously hurts, and I've said many things. Like, at times I'm like, I don't know if I'll return. I do think I'll return if like the right conversation are had, but I can't just dwell like, all right, I'm the kid that just can never catch a break. Like, no, you know what, dude? Just keep working hard. Just keep doing something else will come up.
For sure.
And I also say that like, other doors were open, and if there's no door opening up, I don't see any door, I will build the freaking door.
Absolutely.
And then we go from there because, yeah, it's just like, just keep moving forward. Just keep moving forward. Just that's all it is. But I'm still learning, obviously, with the process. I still so many, just improvising.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt, exactly. Just improvising, and I'm extremely like grateful of where I am.
Yeah.
I'm not. I hate to use like, I don't want to say I'm not proud, but I'm still not. I'm not finished. You know what I mean?
There's more coming.
There's way more coming.
I'll ask you the soccer question later on because there's more to answer that on. But you've got 10, 20, 30 years to explore other options and see kind of where this goes. But I do think it's interesting to look at like, I'm starting to realize for myself like the MLS would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But as things start to grow elsewhere, it's like, okay, maybe that wasn't really meant for me. I'm looking at some of my friends and their careers now.
Yeah.
Retire. It's like, I'm very happy for you. I love that you lived that life and got to do everything you wanted to do. I'm not jealous. Like I don't miss. I don't look at that like I wish I had that anymore. And now it's like, okay, well, what's for me? And I'm letting that kind of unfold. So I think we're both in great spots. Horacio Gutierrez, really appreciate your time today. Where can people go? Like, what are the?
No, yeah. So I'm just. Well, first off, thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me, brother. Absolute pleasure. And yeah, I mean, I'm just on Instagram, so just Horacio Gutierrez Jr. That's it. And then in terms of like Dopamine, we are Dopamine Club, brand new, and hopefully like at some point we're bringing it to a city like wherever everybody else is. You know what I mean?
Let's do it.
We just finished up like, the last two here in LA. We're probably gonna take it to San Diego, and then after that we're taking it to Texas. So we'll be moving around. But yeah,
hit me up for Scottsdale. We'll get it going.
Yeah, there you go.
Let's go. Let's go.
No, but I appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate your time.